It was born and bred on the Autobahn, so it promises a little alacrity. On this edition of Test Drive, the Porsche Cayman R. The Cayman R is a serious driver's car. The stiff chassis and suspension combine to dial out basically all body roll. This keeps the tyres planted and the cornering force is well up the scale. Naturally, the steering is wonderfully weighted and its precision is just about perfect. Ditto the brakes. Even after several back-to-back full-on stops, there was no evidence of fade. Now, the downside is the rather harsh nature of the ride when it's driven normally. This Cayman R decimated the pylon test like no car before it. It obeys driver input with unerring accuracy and it sticks to the tarmac like you know what to a blanket. It really is truly remarkable. What's more remarkable is this car did all of that whilst it was wearing snow tyres. Can you imagine how good it would be with regular rubber? The Cayman R is a road rocket that has a truly sweet powertrain. While it employs the same 3.4-litre flat six as all but the base model, the numbers have been up to 330 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque at 4750 RPM. That's a lot of power in a 1,320-kilogram roller skate. This equates to terrific performance. It takes the Cayman R all of 5 seconds to run from rest to 100 kilometers an hour, and it accomplishes the 80 to 120k passing move in 3.2 seconds. As is true of many Porsches, the interior, well, they've taken a minimalist approach. However, it is driver-centric. Tachometer takes central space in the instrumentation. These seats hug you and they will not let go. Everything is laid out so you can wring the absolute best out of this vehicle when you're driving it quickly. The downsides, well, it does feel rather claustrophobic in here, and the sight lines to the rear, just be careful when you're backing up. The stampeding ponies are fed to the P265/35R19 rear tyres through a locking rear differential and Porsche's optional PDK twin-clutch transmission. It is as good as any I have ever tested, and simply because of its operational logic, it's bang on. Leave it alone and it's an accommodating automatic. Pull back on a paddle and the shift is instantaneous. Select manual and it's just that. Thank you. One of the things I noticed during test drive was that this car could do with a rear wash wiper. So I went to Porsche Canada's website. There it is. Yes, indeed, you can get a rear wash wiper as an option. So I decided to check the rest of the options. Well, there are a lot of them. This car starts at $75,600. By the time you add all of the available options, you're looking at a car that'll set you back over $130,000. That's not nickel and diming, that's bucking a potential customer. And yes, that was with a B. When the PDK transmission is along for the ride, the Cayman R offers 3 distinctly different driving modes. They really do change the R's personality. The normal mode is for about town. Crank up the tone of the drive and the sport mode comes into its own. The throttle is sharper and each gear is held a little longer to emphasize the R's true potential. For those track days, there is the Sport Plus setting. It includes a launch control function, even faster gear shifts, and it allows the back end to go walkabout a lot further than the other 2 modes. If you're looking for a track car, this Cayman R is as good as you're going to find. It has got a ton of power, the handling is truly tenacious, and it goes wherever the driver points it, and if you turn all the nannies off, well, you can drift through your favourite corner. Well, you look like a pro. On the flip side, it's a tough car to live with on a daily basis. The cabin, a bit claustrophobic, the rear sight lines, not so good. And if you're going to drive it on a daily basis, just make sure you've got a very good dental policy.